Welcome to this set of QuickBooks training modules. My name is Cindy McGukin, and I'm going to be walking through each of these modules with you just to give you an overview of how this whole QuickBooks process works. Whether you're new to QuickBooks or you've been using it a while, you can definitely get some helpful information out of these videos. Just to give you a little background on myself, I've been using QuickBooks since 1999. I do teach classes, and also I am a consultant, so I've pretty much seen everything that could happen with QuickBooks. So what I'd like to do is take a few moments in this particular module and go through some of the different versions that are available, some of the new features, and a lot of the enhancements they've done. So I've actually pulled up the QuickBooks website just to give you an idea of some of the versions they have. So let's flip over to the internet for just a moment. So first of all, let me mention QuickBooks Online. This is becoming very popular nowadays because of the ease of access for your information. So if you needed to be able to access your accounting from anywhere in the whole wide world, as long as you have internet access, you're able to go online and do that. A lot of people don't really like the online edition because it's a little different than the desktop version, but it does its job as far as being able to access your data. You'll notice they do have a free 30-day trial, and after that it starts at $12.95 a month and goes up. Most people I know are paying the $25 a month package price. That's going to allow them to actually have multiple company files within QuickBooks and also to use that class feature that we're going to be talking about a little bit later. So notice also there's a version for Mac. So if you're a Mac user, great. I will tell you that your look of QuickBooks is very different than the PC look. So sometimes Mac users get a little frustrated, but it is a great way to get your business accounting done in a timely fashion if you have a Mac. So most people are using the QuickBooks Pro if they're not using the online edition. So we consider that the bottom line version, and notice it goes up to the Premier Edition and then to the Enterprise Solutions Edition. So a small business owner is probably going to go with the Pro. Now let me just tell you, for each of these, that depending on how many users you need, you may pay a little bit more for this. So if you have multiple users in your office and you'd like them all to be able to access QuickBooks from their computer in the office, then you need to make sure you buy a network version of any of these. Just buying one copy and loading it on each machine will not work. Each user can use QuickBooks, but they can't all see the same data file in that particular case. So make sure you buy enough users for your office. Now when you work up to the Premier and the Enterprise Solutions, there's also going to be some accountant editions. There's going to be edition for several different industries out there. What they do is, let's say you purchased a QuickBooks Pro for real estate, then they would pre-build a lot of the list for you and charge you a little bit more money when you could build that list yourself. So just kind of know that there's all kind of versions out there, and you'll just have to decide what works for your needs. So let's flip back to QuickBooks for a moment. And I want to briefly talk about some of the new features that they have. Now, let me just mention they haven't actually added a lot of new features, but they have actually enhanced a lot of the features that they currently have. So let's go over a couple of those real quick. One of the first things you're going to notice is that the home screen has a totally different look. The colors are a little different and so forth. And you'll notice that now the actual icon bar appears on the left, and they actually call this the navigation bar now. So what you'll notice is that you have the ability to use this arrow at the top to collapse or expand, and that'll give you a little more room if you collapse it to see your home screen. Now you do have the ability to move this if you like. You can actually go up on your menu under View, and you can actually put the icon back on the top where it used to be, or you can view it on the left, or you can totally hide it, whichever one works for you. Now you'll notice the way they've got this set up now is this part here is the old shortcuts, and if you look below that, you'll see there's a to-do section you can click on, and that will show you anything you have to do today. You can view your balances. You can run a fave report, and these are reports that you've said are my favorites, or you can actually choose open windows, and you can see which windows are open and click back and forth. Also, you're going to notice down at the bottom there are several different types of services that Intuit will provide for you if you want to pay for it, and you can read through those and see which ones you might like. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse the icon bar on the left. Now some of the other things they've done is they've really enhanced some of the existing features. So just to give you an idea, we have different lists in QuickBooks, and for example the class list, now you can hold up to 10,000 items in that class list if you have the Premier Edition on, Or the customer types, for example, now you get up to 10,000. You also get up to 100,000 in your chart of accounts. So a lot of that won't work with the Pro Edition, but when you move up to some of the later editions, you'll get that many in your list. Now something else they've done is you'll notice that if you're in a window, and let's use Create Invoices as an example, you're going to see now there's a ribbon at the top. So very similar to a lot of the other products that are out there now, everything's gone to the ribbon. And notice there's different tabs on those ribbons as well, so you can choose those options. So one of the good things is, for example, in olden days, if you wanted to maybe memorize or delete or create a copy, you had to actually go to the menu to get to those choices. Well, now there's actually an option on the ribbon for those. Let me go ahead and close this invoice window so we can mention a few other things. Now let's go look at the company snapshot. If you go to company on your menu, notice the second option down says the company snapshot. And this is going to be a very quick way for you to see an overview of how your company's doing. So you're going to be able to see, for example, some charts on the left if you like that show your income and expenses. If you want to look at some reports or charts on previous year comparisons, that sort of thing, you can. All the customers that owe you money, you can kind of see everything that it shows you all at once in a snapshot. Now notice that you do have a payments tab at the top, and that's actually going to give you a quick overview of your receivables, if you need to see some reports on aging, and then also some customer reports under the customer tab. Now for any of these, you have the ability to come over and customize this page. So if there's a particular item that you don't want, but you want to add something in its place, you can certainly do that. So that company snapshot is going to be very helpful. And if you go and make some changes, you can always restore those back to the default settings. So I'm going to go ahead and close the company snapshot, and let's go back to the home screen for a moment. Now they've done a few things in the area of inventory that I want to mention that are pretty neat. So let me run a quick report for you. Let's go up to reports, and I want to look under inventory at what they call a stock status by item. So the one thing that's new here is you now have the ability to see how many of an item you have on hand, the reorder point, and it'll check off any ones that you need to actually go ahead and order more. So if you notice right now, the glass doors, I only have 2 on hand, and that's my reorder point. Now if you happen to have the Premier Edition, you're going to have another button right up here at the top that you can click on, and it will actually create those purchase orders for you automatically. So the button will say create POs, you click on it, it'll make a list of all the purchase orders it needs to create, and you'll just check off the ones you want to create for you, and they're done. That is a really cool feature. You don't have to get out of this window, go back and create purchase orders individually. So that's going to help you a lot when it comes to working with your inventory. Now let me close this particular report and we'll mention 1 or 2 more things. Okay, just a couple of other quick things I want to mention. First of all, if you have the accountant's version, you're going to be able to batch enter transactions, and this is really cool. So what's going to happen basically is that if you have a list of checks or you have deposits or credit card charges, just those 3 items, then you're going to be able to actually enter them all on one list as a batch and throw them into QuickBooks. And you can actually also manually copy and paste those from Excel if you need to into QuickBooks. Click a button at the bottom and it'll create those entries for you. So that's pretty cool. Also, if you're an accountant, you might be interested in this little feature. You can now actually do your journal entries and actually email those to your customer. Now before, what you had to do was you had to actually create a backup copy, an accountant's edition, send it to your customer, they put those in their version of QuickBooks, and then it worked that way. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just email those straight over and they can actually put them right in their QuickBooks file. So that's going to be really helpful to you as well. So you can see there's a lot of little things they've done that enhance what they already have. So go ahead and look through that. You can always go to help up on the menu and they'll also tell you what's new in QuickBooks, and that's really going to be helpful. That's where you need to start. So hopefully you'll join me in some of the later modules, and we're going to be working right on into Module 1 where we talk about actually setting up the company file and getting everything started. I will see you in the next section.